Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to get on here today and talk about a film that I've been really wanting to get on here and chat about for a while. I saw it a couple weeks ago on Netflix, and I just haven't had the time to, parcel it out to sit down and talk about this film. But I would be remiss if I didn't, because I think that this is one of the most absolutely important and vital and just haunting, so many words I could use to describe this film, and that of course is The Perfect Neighbor, directed by Geeta Gandbhir, and this of course follows the shooting of G.K. Owens by her neighbor Susan Lawrence. This happened in Florida. I think it was, I want to say 2024, forgive me if I'm mistaken on the date there, but this was a big news item I regrettably didn't hear about until after this documentary made its breakthrough at the Sundance Film Festival at the beginning of this year. And I was stupid because I wanted to get a ticket to this, but I was a little bit limited on funds at the time. And also the other documentary, Predators, and I ended up getting a ticket to Andre the Idiot, which was good, but I mean, after seeing those two documentaries, they are by far not just the two best documentaries of the year, but honestly, two of the best documentaries of the entire decade, maybe the best two. And I think that tells you how I feel about The Perfect Neighbor right off the bat. Yeah, this was just unforgettable, and I don't know if that's for good or for bad, maybe both, because this is such a tragic situation. I'm just going to leave it at that for, I'll give you some details, of course, as to what happened if you don't know, but I don't want to tell the whole outcome, even though, you can look it up online, it's all there. But I think going into this knowing as little as possible, I definitely think makes the emotional impact that much more effective. And I guess you could say that about any movie, but honestly, if you go in knowing what happened, this is still going to be such a devastating watch, especially thinking about the fact that not only is this something that people need to, stay alert on or stay woke, you could say, but this is really something where there is so much footage of this bitch calling the cops on these kids who were just playing on a piece of property that isn't even hers, and just calling constantly saying, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're being, instigators. And I will say, I'm sure that after a certain point, they probably were a little instigating towards her. But my goodness, you hear some of the stuff that she says about these kids, and I'm just like, how could any rational human being even think to do this? And yet again, I think it's very obvious that this was a very racially motivated crime, because this neighborhood is predominantly black, I would say. I mean, there's a lot of, mixed families and stuff. And I think the one thing that this documentary captures so well is the sense of community within this neighborhood. You definitely get a sense that all these people are pretty tight with one another. And even the cops who come up and have to, placate to this woman's damn phone calls, even they're like cool with the people in the neighborhood. They kind of get to know them a little bit because they go there so often. And I think what I was saying that is so crazy about the fact that she kept calling is literally this whole documentary is just body cam footage from the police officers on the scene, and also security footage of the aftermath. And I mean, there's a couple of scenes that they inserted here and there to kind of like tie everything together, but this is mainly all done just through capturing what was there at the moment. And it is enough for a narrative feature. Like, this bitch is insane. And honestly, it goes beyond that, because this is one of the most malignant, hateful, narcissistic, sadistic people to ever walk the face of this earth. I mean, that tells you a lot of, my feelings on this documentary, but my goodness, I'm going to leave it at that, because this is just absolutely horrendous that someone like this could exist. And you see how she tries to pass off what she does when you get to the end of this movie, and it is absolutely fucking disgusting and vile and just sickening to see the lack of accountability from someone who committed such a heinous crime. And I think that this also brings up a lot of other interesting points about the stand your ground laws in Florida and how problematic that is when trying to convict someone of a specific crime. And there's so many different ideas running throughout literally just body cam footage, a documentary that tells such a complete narrative. I mean, there are literally things that are brought up by people throughout the documentary that feel like they have legitimate payoff. Like, there is not a scrap left on the table, so to speak. And I feel very similarly with this as I do To Kill a Tiger, which made my top 10 films of 2023 when that came out, is the fact that it feels written. And not in the sense that it was doctored, but it felt like someone sat down and like put all these points together. And I'm sure Gandbhir did that, but the fact that it's all there for her to just kind of come in and put this together is absolutely insane to me. But I think the fact that we have this documentation of such a tumultuous, fraught, and charged, and just absolutely tragic situation is something that needs to be out there and needs to be told, brought to the attention of everybody who has the access to it. This is one of the best things that I think Netflix has ever done, picking up this documentary and getting it out there. That's why I'm glad that this is on their platform, because as many people as possible need to see this as a wake-up call to kind of, stay alert as to what's going on around them. And the fact that you really feel like you get to know these people in this community, you get to know the kids, it really just makes the whole aftermath of the situation that much more heartbreaking and saddening. And there are a couple of moments in this documentary that are some of the hardest scenes I have ever had to watch in anything, especially what they are able to capture raw and live. I mean, just thinking about it, it broke me. I mean, it's really just one of the most maddening, infuriating, whatever words you can throw at it to describe just how shocking and how powerful this documentary is. I mean, I don't like to think that I'm a huge crier. I mean, I cry more than some people, right? But for a movie like this to make me cry twice, yeah, I think it says a lot, especially knowing that all of this did happen. This is one of the most impressive feats in documentary filmmaking that I have ever seen in my life, because I can't even imagine how they were able to construct this so perfectly and concisely. Now, I will say maybe it feels like it goes on for just slightly longer, because there's this one sequence near the end that is just like 11 minutes of like uncut footage. Now, that's a little bit of an unfair criticism to throw at it, but you definitely feel the length a little bit, even though it's like 97 minutes. But I honestly feel like this documentary sets out and achieves everything that it wanted to do with flying colors, with such a sense of pathos and empathy, because this really doesn't feel exploitative at all or taking advantage of a tragic situation to just, make a documentary about it. It feels like it's a very important piece of history that must be remembered and must be studied, because this is unfortunately all too commonplace in this country, and especially in Florida, because just imagine if it was a black woman who shot a white woman. We wouldn't really be quite in the same situation now, would we be? And I still think that, you know, this documentary goes to so many shocking places, just narratively speaking. There's so many twists and turns that I think it feels like you're watching a thriller, honestly, in real time, live. I honestly don't have enough good things to say about this, but I want to thank the director for, you know, putting this together, and everybody involved. It is just such a tragic situation. Justice for G.K. Owens, obviously. Please do yourself a favor, go check this out. This is not just one of the must-see documentaries, but one of the must-see films of this year. Yeah, I mean, this has just gotten crazy. Just when I thought, oh, there aren't like that many great documentaries this year, you get two amazing ones back to back. But I think that this probably is going to win the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature. I don't know how it couldn't. This is one of those movies you watch, I'm like, yeah, it's going to win because of the subject matter, because, you know, how relevant it is to this point in time, but just how strongly it's going to resonate with so many people. I mean, I know it was #1 a few weeks ago on Netflix. I'm sure it's still probably in the top 10. Don't quote me on that. But this is an absolutely astounding achievement in documentary filmmaking and, yeah, just narrative storytelling in general. So I'm going to give The Perfect Stranger a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, this is one of the must-see movies of the year, and don't be surprised if it ends up making my top 10 list at the end of the year, because I doubt that there are going to be more stirring and evocative films that leave this strong of an impression. Yeah, I honestly don't know what else to say about this. I think I've said everything that I needed to. But yeah, you guys let me know if you've seen this down in the comments below. We could talk about the situation a bit too. Just, I really would love to hear your thoughts on everything. This is a movie that absolutely warrants discussion and good discourse around it, because, like I said, this is something that we really need to be on our guard about. And yeah, please smash the like button too. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews like this. Of course, more Netflix reviews coming very soon, like Catherine Bigelow's A House of Dynamite and Edward Berger's Ballad of a Small Player. But of course, I got to talk about Shelby Oaks, got to talk about Begonia, so much more to get on here and discuss with y'all. So stay on the lookout for all that. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask you guys to take it easy. I'll talk to you soon.